Hey everybody, it's Beyblade back again for another Beyblade unboxing video. Today's unboxing is a bit different than normal because everything's already open. But I have these boxes here just so I can give a quick rundown of the contents. But I figured by opening everything before I start recording, I save a good 20-30 minutes of video time that could be spent on just looking at the bays and battling them. So I have Cobalt Dragoon 260 Cyclone. It's the first counterclockwise spinning bay of the series and is owned by the same owner as Cobalt Drake, Chrome Ryugu. And so far, from what I've seen online and from tournaments that I've competed in as of recent, Cobalt Dragoon is a menace on point. Like 560 point tends to be the best combo for it. 260 is a terrible ratchet, and Cyclone is really only good on Dragoon, and that's if you even feel like using it instead of point, because point, unlike some of the other attack bits, has really good equalization potential against clockwise spinning bays, which can give it just that little bit of a boost it needs to take spin and outlast the opponent. And there is some concerns that have been brought up that I am aware of. One being that the left launcher is known for breaking, mainly the string not retracting. The best fix that's been going around right now has been to loosen the two bolts here, and that's kind of what the string gets wrapped around, is the bolts themselves. And that's like the short fix, basically. The long fix is a bit more complicated from what I've heard, but I don't really know all of that. I'm just figure if it breaks, I'll buy another Cobalt Dragoon because it's so good of a bay. Why not have more than one? It just makes sense. But yeah, and I will be testing this against Cobalt Drake because, I mean, surely somebody has thought to do this battle. I think, but I've never seen anybody do Drake versus Dragoon yet. I'm not sure if that's just because they're scared to break out their Drake, or if it's just because they do not have Drake. Like, there's just a lot of possibilities. But yeah, I have Dragoon right here. I'm going to open it in a minute. And I have the full set of Black Shell, but I figured there is no point in bringing out all of them. So I just brought one box to show off. So yeah, full set. And this is one of the best random booster sets to date, I'd argue. That and Tyranno Beat. So for this set, we actually have our first UX reskin, which is Wizard Rod, and possibly the best pull of the entire set being Wizard Rod, which comes with, get this, 160 and Rush, our first copy of Rush since the Drawn Dagger deck set. Literally, this is the second Rush copy we've gotten at all, ever. I mean, there is the Hasbro Stadium set, but even that's a $50 set, same with the deck, so both are real expensive, so this is a good way to get it for cheaper. The prize bay, Black Shell, is kind of Drasil shaped. It's basically just Drasil. It's low to the ground, it's aggressively shaped. It's a turtle, for God's sake. It's called Black Shell. I mean, you can't get more straightforward than that. And I have seen some people test it out, and it does good on low flat, on low height for attack in some cases. So it's interesting. And Dot, which is essentially, if you're used to Metal Fight, Jog Ball, but for X. Or if you know Burst, like 2016 Burst, actually even 2015, you would be thinking of Needle from Burst, which had kind of a ball with little points coming out of it. Yeah. It is a low resistance bit, but it grips the stadium while having decent stamina, essentially, is the concept behind Dot. So I'm curious how this will go. And also, I gotta say, this is a really good design. 460 is actually a kind of olive green that's hard to pick up, but it's like green on black. Green for the 4 part and black in the 60 height piece of it. So that's pretty cool, nice little blend. I'd say Black Shell isn't all that exciting, but rather the recolors are what make it worth anything. So let's just dig straight into the recolors. So obviously, Black Shell 460 Dot, this is actually our first low height defense Beyblade. So far, every one of them has been an 80 height, I believe. Though there might have been a 70 that I'm just not remembering. I have no idea. One of the banger recolors, of course, being Wizard Rod, which is like one of the best combos you could get for like anti-attack, kind of just using weight to bully things, essentially, is just what this combo is all about. Not to mention just all generally good parts. There is a Viper Tail in this beautiful pink color, which actually comes with a pink-purple mixture 570 ratchet, which is our first reskin of 570 since the 2 Wizard Rod variants that we have gotten. That being the set version with yellow and black, and the standard booster with just yellow on yellow. So this is really cool to get it pink and purple. And it also comes with the prize bit Dot, which is really cool because even though it's like one of the weaker pulls you could have gotten, it still comes with a prize part, which is actually really solid. And 570 is just really good with Hexa combos. And speaking of Hexa, one of the other most amazing combos, Phoenix Wing in blue, no paint, might I add, on 580 Hexa. 580 is kind of a mediocre ratchet, like it's not amazing or used in competitive all that often, but it is still something that gets used and is usable. But the main appeal is Hexa, which again goes really good with the 570 I just mentioned, paired with Rod as well. And Phoenix Wing being an absolute menace, especially if you put it on Rush. Maybe 160 Rush, maybe 460 Rush, you know? It's just a good combo. And for the alternative recolor, of course, we got to get the P-yellow recolor of our prize bay, like every random booster pretty much coming before it. Except for Tyranno Beat. Tyranno Beat got the good end of it and got it in green. But yeah, Yellow Shell is what I'm going to call this because it's not black. Yeah, it's got 980 in all yellow, which is cool. Another 980 ratchet to add to the collection. It's like the third one we've got, I think. And Ball in red, which is really cool because the only other way to get Ball in any colors but like yellow up until now was from either the giant like entry set with the red drawn sword and blue wizard arrow with blue Ball, or you could get a red Ball from Hasbro off of Talonterra. But good luck trying to find Talonterra in stores here in the States. So this is a really cool way to get another Ball recolor that isn't yellow. So props to Takara Tomy for doing that, even if it is literally just a little more expensive than the Hasbro one. And the last pull of the set is Unicorn Sting, our first recolor of Unicorn so far that we've gotten, in this really cool kind of translucent red. It's got a 370 reprint, which is about our third 370 copy that we've gotten. So far it's come on Hell's Hammer, and I'm trying to remember what random booster select. Shinobi Shadow. Yeah, the one with gear point and 370 in all yellow. And although this is one of the weaker pulls, it still is a brand new first recolor of a bay. It comes with a really nice 370 in red, and again with the prize bit Dot. So really, there is no terrible pull here. You get a prize bit on any of the bad pulls. You get a nice recolor of Ball and the prize blade on this pull. You get absolute monster. Dot reprint in 570. You know, the prize itself. Phoenix Wing and Hex on the same. Like, there is not a single terrible pull. You either get prize parts or competitive parts, and it's just amazing. And next, let's get right into Cobalt Dragoon, the first counterclockwise spinning top of X. And admittedly feels a little bit soon to have a counterclockwise bay, but honestly not a bad choice. So here is Cyclone. If you're familiar with Metal Fight, this is your left flat, but for Beyblade X. And if you're used to Burst, this is essentially the spiral driver for X. Either way, it's all different names for the same left star-shaped pattern made for counterclockwise attack and gripping the stadium. I've heard this is decently quick on left spin and kind of trash for anything clockwise spinning or right spin. But it is a high resistance bit, and it's kind of a rite of passage that every left spin bay gets to have a version of left flat or spiral or cyclone at some point in their evolution line. I mean, Lost Longinus had it, which was our first left spin for Burst. we had Spiral Dash, which came on Zwei Longinus later in the Evolution line during GT. There was Medio El Drago. There was a rubber left rubber flat that came later on in a few different releases for El Drago's Evolution line. So having a left flat tip like this is just basically something every left spin bay does or gets at some point in its life, which is cool. Also, the fact they brought back Dragoon as the name is a really cool nod back to some of the original generation, of course. Here is 260, the absolute worst ratchet we could probably get for scraping. Yeah, the points protrude downward, if you can see. Like, that is so bad for scraping. I mean, at least it has some impact points because of this, but I don't know. But the good news is you can literally use any ratchet on Drake, or Dragoon, I mean, by literally twisting it to the way this one's oriented. And to use this on a clockwise, you just would twist again. So now it's set to spin for clockwise, and it says on the bottom, oh, yeah, there's a little line in every ratchet right about here, as well as an L and R imprinted. When you twist it, it points to which one it's set for. So now it's set to go on a clockwise bay, and then you set it the other way. Now it's set for a counterclockwise again. And Dragoon here is actually a really heavy bay, might I add. Yeah, absolutely heavy. Like on point with, I believe, Phoenix Wing and Cobalt Drake, which would make sense for such an aggro bay. I mean, if you don't have impact going for you, then you better have weight to use, because counterclockwise bays are not exactly known for recoil unless they have very aggressive shapes or very heavy top parts. So if it lacks weight or an aggressive shape, it's not going to get very far. Also, this was, I twisted it back wrong. So yeah, when it's pointed to aim at the R, that's what it means when it's locked into the bay, not when it's ready to be put on. So now that it's on with the R side, I would twist, and now it's set to L for left. I don't understand why they would design it to be that way. It feels kind of backwards, but it is what it is. And here is Dragoon, an absolute menace in the competitive scene. Or maybe not a menace, but definitely annoying for my last tournament I competed in 2 days ago. Last Saturday, I competed in Tiersol or Tresol, however you pronounce his name, Not Like UX tournament for Beyblade X, where I was in finals competing against somebody who was running Wizard Rod, and we were both running Wizard Rod Wizard Rod back to back. And it was just a stamina match with random burst finishes between us. Finally, my opponent, since this was deck format, switched out Rod for a Cobalt Dragoon on something point. And the score was currently 4-3 in their favor. And I kid you not, they went around the extreme line, you know, the backwards, and went straight for the extreme and knocked my Wizard Rod straight out of the stadium, getting an extreme finish and winning finals. So they walked away with, I think it was a gold Leon Claw or a gold Scythe, and I left with a new Hell's Hammer, which I then promptly traded alongside $10 for some Metal Fight Beyblade I really wanted from a friend of mine. Worth it. But yeah, no hate, that was a very fun event, and I love competing in these tournaments every month. So if you're in the Orlando area for any of these events, stop by, look for a person named Euro, that is me, and feel free to come up and compete. Very excited for how that'll go, especially now that I finally have all these for my collection. Because Beyblade Premiere screwed me over and left me waiting for like 2 weeks, while everyone else in the group had already been getting their Dragoons, their 3-player stadiums, all their random booster stuff, and left me still competing with Wizard Rod, Tyranno Beat, and Phoenix Wing, I'm pretty sure. Well, I had to try and figure out how to predict a counterclockwise top in a system that had only had counterclockwise for all of 1 week at the time. Not a very fair matchup for me, but hopefully I can switch out my Tyranno Beat or Phoenix Wing and use this 560 point, assuming that I even like that setup next much. But now, let's get a stadium out here. I am going to be using the 2-player stadium, just because it's the standard for what we all use. Okay, that should be a decent view of the stadium. So I'm going to open up my case, I say competitive, it's literally just the standard Beyblade X case. Get my launcher out, for my right spins, that is. Now I need to get another ring attachment for my left launcher. How great. Okay. I guess I'll start with test launching all the clockwise bays. Okay. First bay to test will be the Phoenix Wing 580 Hexa. Let's see how this does. 3, 2, 1, go. Yup, it's aggressive and it's heavy, as expected. Here is yellow black shell, or just yellow shell, 980 ball. 3, 2, 1, go. Line there. Definitely lightweight, but aggressive in shape. So this could be interesting on low flat for those upper hits due to the cone kind of upward pointed shape it has going for it. Might be good on low flat, I don't know yet. Next, we have Viper Tail 570 dot. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so it is just kind of stable, but I can definitely see it having some interesting defense use from the looks of that movement. Unicorn Sting. Very nice. I feel like this is definitely going to be one of the more interesting defensive combos, or maybe even stamina type. Not entirely sure, but I might try running this stock just to see if it does anything good or not. Time will tell. Black Shell, Prize Bay, and then I'll finally launch the green Why do I keep saying missing the R and W around? Rizzard Wad. I've made that mistake so often. And I am not a big fan of the word Riz, ironically. At 3, 2, 1, go. Black Shell. Yep. Nice. And lastly, Wizard Rod 160 Rush. 3, 2, 1, go. Shoot. Definitely using that extreme line a lot. And definitely a fast-paced bay. And now, for the one thing that's gonna feel so backwards to me, in both literal and in competitive sense. Cobalt Dragoon. Oh, I had to twist it backwards, that feels weird. 3, 2, 1, go. That hurts my brain. It just hurts my brain to have it go backwards. I feel like I should be turning the stadium just to launch this. Go shoot. I don't think I've ever seen that side of the stadium get used so much. Well, I feel like the only fitting thing to do is put Cobalt Dragoon against literally everything I have here. So I guess I will start out with a relatively simple opponent. Viper Tail 570 dot. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Shoot. Oh, there is a hair in the stadium. That is going to be a detriment to this match, and there is more. I have no clue why my hair is getting in there so much. So let's just restart that match now that there's no more stadium debris. 3, 2, 1, go. Shoot. Another one. For God's sake, where does it keep coming from? Definitely equalizing and dying very quickly. Where is it coming from? There's no way that I am just doing that. Freaking 3 or 4. Either way, this thing is winning, ironically enough. Let's put it against unicorn. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Go shoot. Knockout for dragoon. Very swift offense. This is 2 bays aside for the would have gone up. Next, let's try out yellow shell. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Absolutely hammering down the yellow shell, but it is recovering. And no, it's not. I think that was a draw. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Well, that's not good. Yellow shell just went under my shelf. Retrieved. Now let's bring the stadium back and try to finish that round again. Alrighty. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Finish for dragoon. Next, real tough one, Phoenix Wing, 580 hexa. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Attack fight. And Cobalt Dragoon reigns supreme with a spin finish. Let's go again. 3, 2, 1. Oh. They fell off the launcher. Just going to start that again. Okay, low on stamina, but getting impact. And a spin finish for the Phoenix Wing. Okay. Next, let's put it against the actual black shell itself. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Oh, dang it. Dropped it and the freaking bit flew off and just fell out for no reason. Had no reason to fall off and do all of that. So let's start that again. Go shoot. Shoot. It's absolutely devastating attacks from the group. Shell appears to be taking that, but not for much longer. Let's have it stabilize, and that's a spin finish for Dragoon. Right on. And now for a match I don't really want to do because attack versus attack. Wizard Rod. Ah, it fell off. Great, now I gotta start that launch again. Oh, and there's hair again. Where does it keep coming from? Good God. Where is it coming from? Where? This is causing me distress for no reason. What the hell? Do I need to clean this like every match or something, or am I shedding? Oh, jeez. Okay, overall, I can tell Dragoon is definitely going to be a menace on 560 point. Just straight up, I don't even need to test it to know that is the setup to go for. As for the random booster, buy the full set. I mean, when you figure that Black Shell's going to sell for 50, 40 to like anywhere between 40 to 60 on its own, you might as well spend the other 40 to 60 that you aren't spending already to get the rest of the full set. I mean, my God. Phoenix Wing, you get Hexa, Wizard Rod, 160 in Rush, Ball, 980, second print of this, 570, Prize Bit, beautiful color palette, 370, Prize Bit, beautiful color palette. It's just so competitive. You could build an entire deck out of just that, out of just those two, or just the random booster set, literally. And if you want to go further, you could buy a Dragoon, and you could just buy literally any starter with point. As long as you have a launcher, literally. It's so easy. You get a Leon Claw, you get the Black Shell full set, and you get a Dragoon, and you are just set, basically, for competitive. And you don't even need the Dragoon. It's just monster. This is just so silly. Actually, yeah, you probably do need the Dragoon, because you need a third slot that's solid. So overall, my thoughts on these bays is worth it. I did notice the launcher kind of not want to retract for a second, which is not a good sign for a launcher that has been out of the package for less than 30 minutes. I mean, it's not even been half an hour and this thing's already trying to do crap like that. And I have launchers that I have had for more than 5 years that don't do that. So that is just a concern, big time. But in all honesty, if you're gonna buy a second Dragoon just for the launcher, it's still worth it because Dragoon is really good. Yeah. So yeah, if it breaks, buy another Dragoon. It's really not that bad of an idea just to have more than one anyways. I mean, the trade potential, even if you have a broken launcher and a second Dragoon, you can find somebody willing to try and repair it if you don't repair it yourself to keep, and you could have such good trade potential. Trading at Beyblade tournaments is probably the way I get a lot of really good X parts and a lot of really good bays that I'm waiting on in the mail that haven't shown up yet, and then I just trade them again once I get the ones I'm waiting on. It's such an easy process for me to work on. Like when I was waiting on my Tyranno full set, I just traded some gold 380 prize ratchet for a prize Tyranno. And then the moment my Tyranno showed up, I just traded the prize one for something else. I don't even remember what I traded for. I think I got the gold Leon Claw, which ironically I was also waiting on. So it's just a cycle of trading for things I already am getting, but I'm impatient for. And then I trade up again. Which is why I now have like 3 gold Leon Claws in my collection. 2 are still in the box. It's so silly. And at one point I had 2 Tyranno beat prize bays because of trading. Honestly, if you have money to spare on just a small Beyblade lot for things you're okay with trading, do it. Go to tournaments and just start trading. Learn what the items you have are worth, learn what other people have that they're willing to get rid of, or what they may want in return. Just trade. Trading is a great way to get used Beyblades that are new to your collection. Even better than buying them, I'd say, especially for a lot of used Metal Series stuff, Burst stuff, or even some of the newer X-Bays if you have an extra from a random booster. Just use it to trade for a bay you don't already have. Very off topic. Let's get back on topic now. Good Beyblades. Yes, I recommend this. Everything here today, I recommend fully. If you're getting Black Shell, either only buy individual confirmed for bays you want, or go for the full set. Don't try and mix in between, because chances are you maybe want 1 or 2 bays from the set, or you want the full set. So buy those bays individually if they aren't the prize. And if you do want the prize and something else, at that point just spend another 20 to 30 and get the full set. because at that point you might as well be spending almost as much. As for Dragoon, you have to get Dragoon. It's counterclockwise, and it hits like a truck, as seen here. So thank you all so much for watching,